What's up, everybody? Ninja Turtle Cup. Boom, look at that. Still mastering this part. Okay. Anyway, what's going on? Howi Spangler here. We're going to call this episode number 159 of the Tales from the Green Room podcast. It's informal this morning, whatever. I have purple hair, so you got to use purple shampoo when you bleach your hair, because you end up with like if the toner doesn't take all the way, like you end up with like a brassy or orange color throughout. So you got to use some purple shampoo, and on the ends it shows even more because I fried. This is from back in July last year when I fried my hair, leaving it on too long, so it's like almost white. The purple shampoo comes out even more. And the rest of it looks pretty good, I think. Anyway, it's punk rock, whatever. So what's going on? Yeah, figured I would use this episode to talk about the past weekend of festival shows and what a shit show they were. It was pretty, it was stressful. It was very stressful. If I'm being honest, it was like when you do fly dates, I hate doing fly dates because really for this exact reason. This weekend was it just felt so chaotic and it just wasn't as fun as it should have been, as it could have been. Let's rewind. Let's go back. Talk about Friday. Friday, the 14th, we did Buds-a-Palooza in Phoenix, Arizona. And I was already there for a couple days because I did a video shoot with my friends, the Expendables. We just dropped a song together last week, so go check that out. It's called OG One of a Kind. It's really cool, like classic Expendables, like punk rock, reggae tune. So if you're into that kind of thing, shreddy guitars and cool reggae grooves, go check that song out. It's available. I'll put a link right here. You guys can check it out. Anyway, so I was already there for a few days doing that, and then met the guys at the hotel Thursday night. My guys, the rest of my guys flew in, and next day, Friday, we headed over to the festival grounds and got situated. They had like a backstage area, and apparently, it was like Punisher Central. And if you guys don't know what a Punisher is, it is someone who won't leave you alone, basically. Just won't stay out of your space. And like, I'm all for, talking to people and saying hello and, greeting and things like that, chatting it up, But like when we're backstage, the whole point of backstage is to be away from all of that and to be able to collect your thoughts and get ready for the show and not be stressed out. And like, for me personally, I don't like to talk before the shows. I don't like to, do too much conversation because I don't want to blow my voice out, or, I don't really drink before the shows. I kind of lay back and chill, and I'd rather be like playing a video game or, on the Steam Deck or like, or just sitting there watching a video. I don't know, just not being bothered, feeling like I have to entertain. That's the whole point of backstage. But some people got some VIP wristbands somehow and felt like that was free reign to just visit every tent. We saw a guy taking beers out of our cooler, and other bands' coolers, stuff like that. So if you get the VIP wristband at these festivals, somehow, that doesn't mean you can go drink the band's beer, or, had a guy with his like camera in my face a few times, like, hey, what's up? Hey, you ever had that? Like, you ever had someone walk up to you and go, hey man, say smile, like it's a weird thing. And I get it, but there was no security backstage. It was just weird. We took our backpacks, like put them in the Expendables room while they chilled during our set. Like we put them in their trailer, or their tent, just stuff like that. So it's like, it just gets it's a little frustrating. So anyway, so we only had 20 minutes and the show was running behind with every band that came on because they only had 20 minutes to get set up between the bands. So, things don't go according to plan. Sound isn't right. So people are scrambling all over the stage and plugging things in and troubleshooting, and it becomes a big chaotic mess. Now for us, when we do fly dates, we do something called backline. We backline our gear, meaning we have the festival or the event or whatever, the promoter, order a bunch of gear like a drum kit, keyboards, wireless gear, stuff like that. Things that we can't necessarily fly with because it would be a lot of gear to move, which would be like impossible. And also it would get expensive, with all the bags and stuff. So you backline gear, and this is a very common thing that happens at every festival. There's like a house drum kit basically for the whole day and things like that. Anyway, so I'd say at least half the time that we do these fly dates, we don't get the things that we ask for. Maybe it's the level that we're at. Maybe we're not like some big band yet, but I like to think that we're like a mid-tier thing. But so we don't always get the gear that we need. So like we needed wireless mics and wireless guitar systems. And then we asked for 30 to 50 foot instrument cables to run from because we brought our pedal board. So like I have a Kemper guitar amp. It's like, it looks like a big pedal board, but that's my amp, so I can carry it on the flight. I put it in my suitcase. It's very nice, very convenient, and I have all my tones, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful when it's hooked up properly and everything's working. So we had a local crew guy that's worked with us before. He lives in Arizona, so we had him come out and meet us. And he hasn't worked with us in a long time. Our show's changed a little bit since then, the way we set up, things like that. But, we trusted him because he's worked with us before. He knows what he's doing. And then we had our front of house guy who runs our sound as well. But it wasn't the team that we had on the last run, which is what I was hoping to get. But people aren't available, things like that, So it's actually very hard to find crew guys these days. I think after the COVID shit, maybe. Cheers, guys. And so they got us set up, and then, I'm noticing, and this is within our 20 minutes, and we were already over. Our friends Bumpin' Uglies had gone over their time a little bit, but that's because they started late because they were having issues going on. So it's just a complete mess. So we were already up behind, and then we're getting on, and I'm noticing like my guitar is really like distorted in my ears. Sebastian isn't getting anything in his ears. They gave us these packs that I didn't even recognize the brand, and we always ask for Sennheiser gear because that's what we use Sennheiser for our wireless stuff, and so we didn't get that. So I didn't know how to work any of the stuff, because when you have like a bunch of people trying to figure things out, it would be way easier if we use the same gear that we use normally, because then we would know how to troubleshoot ourselves. But now you're giving me some gear that I'm not familiar with. So I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to scan like for new frequencies. I don't know how to troubleshoot things. So you're waiting on, some house tech guy to, he's trying to figure something else out and put fires out over here, or you're trying to put a fire out here, you're waiting in line. So, and then I'm down on all fours looking at because we did bring our, which is this right here, is our wireless rack, our console for our ears. Basically our mix that we hear in our ears individually runs on an iPad, runs on this thing, and I'm using an iPad to dial everything in, and forgot the iPad. So that was great. And I didn't realize that I would have just used the iPad that I travel with, my own personal one. Anyway, this wasn't hooked up properly. And then the input gains on the guitar wireless systems were all wrong. So mine was completely distorted and weird, and Sebastian's was like nothing. You couldn't hear anything. The ear packs they gave us, I have my own molds, but the pack that I plug into on my back there the mix was all completely screwed up, and then I couldn't get into the mix to actually fix anything because we didn't have the iPad. So it was just a big mess, and then things weren't coming out, and like it was very stressful. And so we ended up going on almost 30 minutes late, and we had to cut. Yeah, so that means we had to cut 30 minutes of our set. We had an hour set, and we cut 30 minutes. So we cut like a big chunk of songs out. And the whole time is like, we're professional, right? This isn't the first time that we've had problems on stage. We've played thousands of shows over the years, and you grow to expect these kinds of things. And we've gotten really good at trying to put on the best show possible in spite of all those things. So but with that said, it is very tough because you're in your head now. The whole thing about performing is that you're supposed to know your show and your songs so well that you don't have to think. You just do it. It's all muscle memory, and you just do the show. It's just a thing that just happens like breathing, right? And it's this like autonomous thing that's supposed to happen. But so when there's issues like that and you're getting RF and things are dropping out, there are moments where I would completely lose signal and it's just quiet because those molds are isolating. So you don't hear anything. It's very muffled, when you hear anything on stage, or you can barely hear the crowd. So you can't hear anything. You're struggling with RF issues, like sounds like that. Things are cutting out. The mix is fucked up. So I'm hearing Sebastian's vocal over mine. I can't hear his guitar at all. I can barely hear mine. I'm getting too much bass, no keys, barely any kick and snare. And my mix is pretty simple. I like to hear everything, right? But with the drum kit, I don't need, kick, snare, hat, that's really all I need, because I can hear his cymbals and other things coming through my mic from where because I stand directly in front of him. So I mute all that stuff out. I just need kick, snare, and hat, really just stay in time and feel it. And then I need some bass to kind of fill it out. And then I like to have the keys there and the other guitar and vocals for references at a low volume. And then I have my vocal and my guitar, probably the loudest. They call it more me. So every guy has more me in their mix, so they can hear what they're doing. And it was completely messed up, just a total shit show from the get. And so we're trying to put on this show, and I can't tell if my guitar is actually coming out. So I'm going, okay, this isn't happening. Trying to interact with the crowd, trying to sing the songs, trying to sing on key. I felt like I was screaming the whole time. So by the end of the set, I was losing my voice. It was just a nightmare. And then so couple that with, like, it's a weed fest, right? And everyone's high as fuck. The whole crowd, they're giving out free weed the whole time in this parking lot outside downtown Phoenix. And don't get me wrong, that's amazing. I love that. I think that's great. But the crowd is like super low energy, and that's because they're all high as shit and great. As long as they're happy and they're having a good time. But it's hard to tell if they're having a good time when it's like that. When the crowd's low energy, you're wondering, okay, is this even fun for them? Are they having a good time? It sort of starts to affect your performance a little bit, because you're like, oh fuck, we're not doing well, you know. But you're also telling yourself, okay, they've been smoking weed all day, so you know this is just what it is. And then, you know, I watched every band all day, and after us, like, the crowd was the same. You know, it just got even more sleepy towards the end of the night. And I get it, they've been drinking and smoking all day. So when you play a weed fest, that's just what it's going to be. There's going to be a lot of people just chilling and, you know, laying back in the cut, you know, hopefully enjoying the show. When you have a set list, you have it all planned out, and then we're chopping out songs sort of as we go. So the band's yelling at each other like, oh, what song? What are we cutting? What song are we cutting? What are we doing next? Like, it's just, it becomes like chaos. And I like to think of it as just a punk rock show at that point. But we also like to put on, we like to put on a professional show. Like, we want to look good, we want to sound good, and we want to perform well. So that kind of bothers us, you know. I want to put on a good impression, because every show, as many years as we've been playing, every show there's always someone new that heard of the band and wants to check it out. And so it's like, you know, our job is to reach them and make them want to come back and listen to the band, you know, and see the shows. So when we have those weird nights and I feel like I'm not singing well, or we're just not on top of our game, it starts to get into your head a little bit, and it's frustrating, stressful. So yeah, we did the set, it was over, and I remember just thinking, like, I can't wait till this is over. And that's not what you want. Like, that I do this because I love this shit, and if I feel like I'm not loving it, that's a problem, you know? So we finished the show, got our stuff packed up in our rental van, got to watch Long Beach Dub All-Stars and Expendables, and then we went back to the hotel, and we ended up, Long Beach Dub All-Stars were staying in the same hotel, and it was this really cool hotel, the Egyptian Motor Hotel. And it's pretty funky, but in a good way. Every room had an acoustic guitar in it. Our room had bunk beds. It had Apple TV. There was a full-size fridge. Like, it was nice. It was a really cool spot. And in the middle, it had this bar. It wasn't super popping or anything, but it was just cool. It was outside. There was like this gravel area, nice big bar. There's a stage behind it. I guess they do like acoustic shows or DJ stuff on the weekends. But yeah, so I got to sit there and talk to Miguel from Long Beach Dub All-Stars for a while, and Opie for a little bit, and just shoot the shit about Sublime. And you know, so for me that was really cool. That was a nice way to end a weird day, was to sit and talk, you know, about one of my favorite bands with the guys that were heavily involved with that band. So shout out to Miguel and Opie and that whole crew. But it'd be cool to do a tour with Long Beach Dub All-Stars at some point. So then the next day was like a fly day, so just travel, so it was very chill. Got the gear, threw it, and got a couple Uber XLs, went to the airport, sat around at the airport for a while, and then flew to Orlando and got to a hotel. And Sebastian's brother has a restaurant, a Colombian restaurant, so we got some good Colombian food, delicious. And I'll have to find out the name. Maybe I'll try to put that in the show notes if you guys want to check it out. But got some good Colombian food, and then played some Resident Evil and went to bed. And then Sunday we went to the venue at like 10:30, in the morning, and it was cool. It was like there was definitely a better vibe. Like it was sunny Florida. You know, I mean, it was gorgeous in Phoenix, by the way. I gotta say, all last week was gorgeous, but it felt like home in Florida. And there was a lot of people that we knew, and we were walking around the festival grounds and checking it out, and you know, it was a good time. So then it's our time to play again. This time we had more time to set up. I think we had 30 minutes to set up, but we had a crew that was more familiar with our stuff. So, but it wasn't as smooth. It was like, it still didn't get much smoother. It was like, again, we had some wireless gear that we weren't used to, and the same thing happened. And then like my guitar was plugged in wrong. And so the whole time, like my guitar was like distorted sounding. All my clean tones are supposed to sound nice and pretty and clean. They were like driven, like overdriven, like there was a lot of gains in them, and it felt like the same situation where the input gains on the wireless receivers were cranked or something, or maybe it was set to, you know, a mic level, and so everything was just really loud. So that was really throwing me off the whole time. We had to cut more songs again, couldn't hear things, and it was just a weird situation. It's just, I can't stress how important it is to be able to hear yourself and have your familiar setup and all your, you know, and sound the way you're supposed to sound, the way that you're used to sounding. I can't stress that enough. It's like things need to be familiar, and I don't know, it's so stressful. I feel like the show went better than the Phoenix show, and we had a ton of fans up front there, about a lot of Ballyhoo hooligans. Thank you guys very much. I saw the flags and people singing, and it was great. You know, we had a good crowd. I think the venue is a little big for it's like the second year of this festival, Florida Grows. I think it was put together really well. I think the production was slamming it. The stage was great. The PA was great, and they had a lot of cool vendors, and you know, Mark Longnecker from And the Summer Tattoo, and he was there. He's done a bunch of my shit, so it was good to catch up with him. Walked around, saw some friends in the crowd, and I could tell we had a lot of fans there, you know. So it was really nice. But yeah, it's just the show itself, the set. It was very rough around the edges, and it seemed like people had a good time. And that's the one thing is like people actually don't notice those weird technical issues so much. I mean, like in the beginning, you know, especially in Phoenix, they knew that we were having a hard time. Like things weren't coming out. Like they could tell we were a little stressed out, but in the show, the things that we're hearing, they're not necessarily hearing. And it looked like everyone was just singing along, having a good time. So if anybody caught any of that stuff, I apologize. We're trying to be better about it, and we're trying to get the whole fly date thing locked down. We've been doing fly dates for years, but it's just, you just never know what you're going to get. And I guess until we reach that level of being like a huge band, we're not going to get all the things that we request. So, and I get it. It's some of the stuff is expensive, and these promoters try to save money. I get it. It's rough sometimes. But I thank everybody that came out to both of those shows. You know, it means a lot to us. We are going to be, speaking of fly dates, we're going to be in Fort Pierce in Florida again this weekend. Fort Pierce, Fort 20 Festival. I think it's just I think it's a crunch fest. I think it's going to be a bunch of hippies. I haven't heard any of the bands, and we're headlining. So hopefully people turn out and like our band. But yeah, we'll be in Fort Pierce this Saturday night, April 22nd. So April 22nd is my son's 13th birthday. And if I'm being honest, I didn't want to do this show that's coming up. It's my son's birthday. You know, it's his 13th birthday. So I'm a little bummed out that I have to go do this. The band has, you know, we've been going through a lot of hard times the last couple of years, not just with COVID. Like we've been locked up in a lawsuit, and things finally settled a couple months ago, but it wasn't in our favor. So it's been a little rough, and so, you know, we kind of have to do the show to keep the money coming in. And that's one of the things I hate, is that I don't like having to do something for money. I don't like being under the power of someone else. The whole point of doing this career, starting this band and doing this is to not have to work for someone else, and not have to, you know, follow the rules, and you know, we're like our own boss, you know what I mean? That's the whole point of this, and make the life that we want to make. But, you know, having to make decisions based on money is, to me, it's just not a good situation. And so we're climbing out of it. slowly. And our team is sticking with us, and it's going to get better. It's just really, it's very stressful, and it's made me really depressed over the last couple of years, honestly. So that's for a different podcast. So anyway, we're doing this show Saturday. I hope it goes well. I'm getting in and out. I'm flying in, we're going to do my son's birthday party this Friday, and then I'll have a little bit of Saturday morning to hang out with them, the family, and then I'm going to take off and basically get to Florida at like 4:30 that day, Saturday, play the show at like 9:30, and then I'm on the first plane back home at like 7 in the morning on Sunday. So yeah, it just is what it is. I've been lucky enough to have, the last 13 years, I've been able to spend my kids' birthdays with them, because I think it's important. I think it's important that you're there. I don't care about my birthdays as much. I've had many birthdays on the road, and it can feel a little bit lonely because you want to be with the family, But usually the guys, we try to, whenever it's someone's birthday on the road, we try to make it a good day for them. But yeah, this time it's a bummer. He's 13, so it's a milestone. So I was hoping to be home for the whole weekend, but it just is what it is. So help us make it worthwhile and come out to the show Saturday. Next weekend we're gonna be at home. We're doing some home shows. We got Essex, the Crazy Tuna in Essex next Friday, the 28th. It's usually the show's almost sold out. So grab your tickets. The next night we're going to be in Solomon's Island at Tiki Bar. That's always a crazy show as well. And then we're doing Winchester, Virginia at the Bright Box next Sunday, the 30th. So grab tickets, come hang out. I'll be live streaming tonight at 9 p.m. So if you're around, hit that notification button and see what's up. All right, well, I guess that's it. I just wanted to check in, kind of do this informal little episode. Thanks for spending your day with me. Let me know. I've got some dates open for my acoustic parties that I'm picking up. Spring is filling in pretty good. I got some summer left, early summer. But if you're interested, hit me up in the comments and let me know. And maybe I can come to your house or come to your party and play some acoustic tunes. Anyway, new record is finished. It is mastered, and we are working on getting the release set up. And we'll be dropping a single, in May. So another single. But anyway, appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful day, and talk to you soon. All right, peace.